Welcome to vlog 21. 21 years ago, Geri Halliwell left the Spice Girls. But she's back! Welcome to vlog 21. How are we all this week? I got a little spice back in my life. Did you? More about that later. First of all, on Monday I was at the Southwark Playhouse to see Ain't Misbehavin. This is a transfer from the Mercury Theatre in Colchester. As a show, there's not really a lot to it, but as a night out, it is fantastic. With an incredible cast of 5, including my buddy Adrian Hansel, they smash through over 30 songs that you will know, including Ain't Misbehavin. It was directed by Tyrone Huntley in his directorial debut, and he does a fantastic job. And was there on Monday night, and I managed to catch up with him on Monday night, along with Matt Lucas, who was at the Southwark Playhouse to watch another show. Back to Ain't Misbehavin. Also in the show, who absolutely stood out for me, was Renee Lamb. Now, if you're a massive fan of the 6 album, which I am, you will know she was the one that recorded the track No Way, which I am obsessed with. And Toby Marlowe and Lucy Moss, who wrote 6, were in the audience to support Renee. We had a little catch up afterwards and I told Renee how much I love her. She said I had cute dimples. Made. Adrian, Renee, the cast and all the band finished on Saturday. So if you missed it, you missed out. Straight after Ain't Misbehavin, I rushed over to Kinky Kabaret at Freedom Bar, where Emma Lindars was having her debut album launch, As We Grow Older. Now this album started off as a Kickstarter campaign, and it is incredible. If you don't know Emma Lindars, she is 1/3 of the Idols, and was also in shows like Made in Dagenham and Groundhog Day. Her voice is ridiculous, as anybody will tell you if you've seen her sing. It was a really incredible evening hosted by Kinky Kabaret regular host Carl Mullaney. Joining Emma as her special guest was Charlotte and Portia from the Idols and Harriette Mullen, as well as her incredible 4-piece band. Here are a few videos from that night.
Look alive in the pouring rain. I used to feel so uninspired, and when I knew I had to face another day, Lord, it made me feel so tired. Don't know
watch the full 30-minute video on my YouTube channel. Also, check out her album, which also contains duets with Alice Fern and John Partridge. On Tuesday afternoon, I was back at the Old Vic for the understudy run of All My Sons. Now, for those who don't know, with big productions like this, they generally have an understudy for every single character. So what the production will do, in order to make sure everybody gets a chance to go on, at least once, they put on these special performances for an invited audience, and I was lucky enough to be there to watch. As well as watching my mate Theo Bryce, the cast also included Bessie Carter, the daughter of actors Jim Carter and Imelda Staunton. Having seen the show before, I think it's an incredible play, and it was really special to be able to see this understudy cast take it on. On Tuesday evening, I went to the Southwark Playhouse to see The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, the musical adaptation of the film starring Brad Pitt. And wow, what a show! If you know the film, you know the story. I was unsure how they were going to get around the aging of the character, and they get around this with the use of puppets. Now this is an incredible actor-muso production with a cast of 5 who all play multiple roles as well as their instruments. And they are superbly talented. The production looks beautiful as well, and the music is gorgeous. The only problem with this piece is that sometimes it does become a bit repetitive and it does drag, but only in parts. Generally, it's a stunning production. Now, it has been written, directed and produced by Jethro Compton. And I'll be honest, that is probably why it's not quite as good as it could be. And if I'm honest, that's probably what holds this production back. I get a sense that if somebody else had come in with a fresh pair of eyes or a red pen, they might have streamlined the production and made it a bit slicker. Like I say, it's a stunning production, but it could be magnificent if it was just refined a little bit. On Wednesday, need no introduction, I was at the Spice Girls. Oh! They were incredible. I took my friend Zara to see them in Manchester, and although the weather was pissing it down, that did not dampen our spirits. Here are a few videos from the concert.
When you're feeling sad and low, we will take you where you gotta go. Smiling, dancing, everything is free. All you need is positivity.
They were incredible. And honestly, as a theatrical production, which it felt like, It was exceptional, including the costumes designed by Gabrielle Slade, who designed the Queen's outfits in the Six musical. As a show, it gave you everything, even Jerry Halliwell being her kooky self. It was Mel B's birthday, she was loving life. Even though it rained, everybody was slipping around. The sound was fine, I don't know why people complained. As a 37-year-old man who's been obsessed with the Spice Girls since I was 14, I was that kid who had all the duvets, all the merchandise, all the posters, and I've never grown out of them. I love the Spice Girls. I love all the music. They were fantastic. I was a happy boy. And while I was in Manchester, I spotted posters of Ollie Dobson all over the city, promoting his new show, Back to the Future, the musical, which comes out next year. In sad news, Emare at the Charing Cross Theatre has announced that it will sadly close on the 8th of June instead of the 20th of July. Now this doesn't really come as much surprise. The original production closed after only 17 performances. And Danielle Toronto did her best to recreate this little gem of a show. Unfortunately, it just didn't seem to have paid off. I do feel sorry for the entire cast and all the creatives who have genuinely and clearly worked so hard on this production. But that's how it goes. Sometimes a show doesn't sell. If you've got a chance, make sure you get to see it before the 8th of June when it does close. Following on from the announcement last week that Laura Baldwin will be taking a bit of time off from Waitress, What's On Stage have announced the concert version of Godspell, starring Rachel John, Luke Bayer and Laura Baldwin. She didn't waste time. See? Told her she'd be busy. I love Godspell. I did it as a school production, so I can't wait to see this version, including Laura. Ooh, and how's this for a treat? The Curve Theatre have released a first video of Tashan Williams singing the iconic song from The Colour Purple. Check it out.
Deep breath. Gonna hold my head up. Gonna lift my shoulders back and look you straight in the eye. I'm gonna flirt with somebody when they walk by. I'm gonna sing out, sing out. I believe I have inside of me everything that I need to live a bountiful life. With all the love alive in me, I will stand as tall as the tallest tree. And I'm thankful for every day that I'm given, both the easy and hard ones I'm living.
On Thursday, I was at the Tristan Bates to see one of the shows from their queer season. The show was called Works of Art and was written and starred Robin Samoes da Silva. Robin is an incredibly inspiring young trans man who I first encountered in Spring Awakening at the Hope Mill Theatre. During the production, came out as trans. In Spring Awakening, Robin played Anna, but at the What's On Stage Awards, which took place after Robin came out as trans, Robin was given the opportunity to play the male role within the show, which was fantastic to see. And he got so much support and love. In this production, Robin has written a story about a young trans boy who comes to terms with the death of his mother. It's an interesting choice by Robin to tell this story. In the story, the trans boy comes out to his mother, who doesn't have a problem with it. And although this is great and lovely to see, as a dramatic piece, it doesn't leave much room for conflict, which is a shame, because really you want to see that opposition, you want to see that struggle. Although there was another element to the story which tackled the mother's depression and subsequent suicide, that story wasn't really portrayed particularly well. It just seemed a bit of a mishmash of ideas, and I think if they'd focused on one or the other narratives, they'd have perhaps been better off. Robin's writing and music is brilliant, and I'll be honest, I could listen to all those songs on an album, but as a show, it wasn't quite there. Now, this was only the first presentation of this piece, and it was only on for 2 evenings. I'm not going to criticise too harshly because, funnily enough, I started out as a writer at the Tristan Bates Theatre 7 years ago with my first play, Fragments. And the Tristan Bates continues to provide these incredible platforms and spaces for new writing to develop. And although this wasn't a perfect start, like I say, Robin's music is incredible. And I just feel they could have done with a little bit more time developing the story before presenting it. But great work. And great to see a trans man telling a trans story. The piece also starred Adam Dawson, who was in Spring Awakening with Robin. On Friday, I finally released an interview with the cast of Elegies for Angels, Punks and Raging Queens. I'm not going to lie, this took forever to edit. It was a joy to interview 14 of the cast members, and they all had so much to say about this story and about this show. It made my life impossible trying to edit it down from 60 minutes to 20. But you can see that full 20-minute interview on my YouTube channel.
I think it's just really important to get like the message out because people seem to think that this is something that happened so long ago when actually it was only 30 years ago, which is something that we've actually started to realise when people come and they're like, I remember this.
But I think it's so important to keep telling these stories because I think we see in every generation a little bit getting lost every time.
For me, I think it's an awareness to say, look, AIDS isn't just in the gay community, it's everywhere. Like
AIDS, HIV, this crisis was a worldwide thing that affected and can affect anyone.
Everything that I thought that I knew about this epidemic was more related to the gay community, but actually it affected so many more people. So it just
is so important to highlight as well because now we have found out during this process that in the UK at the moment more people are living with HIV and AIDS than there has been in so many years, and it's an eye-opener for everybody, and it's a conversation starter, which is so important in this time.
On Friday, I was at the Main Men of Musicals concert at Cadogan Hall, starring Ben Forster, Liam Tamne, Luke Bayer and Trevor Dion Nicholas. Now, considering these 4 are incredible West End performers, I was actually quite surprised that it wasn't actually sold out. Plus, I'll be honest, it was a bit of a dull concert, by my standards. I've talked about this before in my blog, The Future of Kabaret, how I want something new. The Kabaret series like Refresh offers something completely different. It's seeing your favourite West End stars do something else. With this, it was great, don't get me wrong, and the orchestra sounded amazing, but they didn't do anything new. They had the likes of Ben Foster singing Gethsemane from Jesus Christ Superstar and Music of the Night from Phantom of the Opera, songs which we've seen him sing 1,000 times with a full orchestra. I just didn't really get much from seeing him sing it again on this scale. Not that he wasn't incredible, and the same goes for Luke Bayer. He's recently only just finished his run in Everybody's Talking About Jamie, and here he was again singing a song from that show. I think the producers, Lambert and Jackson, do a really incredible job of putting these shows together because I know it's not easy and I know it's not easy to sell. But with a calibre of this lineup, it should sell itself. And it should be offering the audience something new, something different. Or maybe it's just me. The show did go down well and the audience did love it. And everybody was on their feet. And perhaps some of them hadn't seen these men in the West End shows. I don't know. But like I say, for me, I just wanted something different, something more, something which really shows a different side to these incredible men and their incredible voices. Now on the other side, you've got the likes of Club 11 and Take Two Productions, who also do concert series at Cadogan Hall. Now they're really pushing the boat out. They bring in Broadway stars and do something different with them, offering you something you haven't seen before. For me, it was an enjoyable evening, but like I say, I just left wanting more. And Liam Tamne is gorgeous. Anyway, here are a couple of the songs from that night, so you can judge for yourself. Saturday afternoon, while most people were basking in the sun, I was sat in the theatre watching country music. And to be honest, I was so much happier. What a show this is. As you know, I saw it earlier in rehearsals where I got to interview the original cast. It's had a slight rejig with Dario Coates stepping in at last minute to take over from one of the parts. This is a stunning play by Simon Stevens, one of his earlier works. And if you saw the interview with the cast, you'll know a little bit about it already. It has been produced and directed by Scott LaCrasse, who is extraordinary. I've seen some of his stuff before and talked about it in my blog, but this really is his calling card. The work behind it is seamless. You don't really appreciate what he's done because the performances are exceptional. The set and staging is really beautiful as well. I honestly cannot recommend this show enough. If you're going to Clapham, go to Omnibus Theatre and go and see it. You will see some incredible performances in a brilliant play. On Saturday evening, I went along to see a workshop presentation of Immortals at the Drayton Arms Theatre. Ooh, I don't want to be harsh, but this was possibly one of the worst things I've ever seen. I genuinely thought it was appalling. It stars my good mate Stuart Briggs, who you will know from That Kabaret. He is an incredible performer and does the best of the work he's been given. But this show, written and directed by Mark Andreas, it's just not good. It describes itself as an electro-pop musical about the pursuits of fame and eternal youth. Now within that, there is actually a very poignant story at the heart of it, which definitely does have the potential to tell a good story. The problem with the piece is it's that exactly. You've heard that electro pop sound that sounds like it's been made in a bedroom, very tinny, very automated, just does not lend itself to a musical, really. I mean, I've seen people attempt to do it before, unsuccessfully. Don't get me wrong, I love a good Europop, Eurovision standard. And this guy has written a couple of songs for the Eurovision, unsurprisingly. Oh, it's just not very well executed. Having said that, everybody is trying their best, and I did honestly feel really bad for them. Jordan Veloso, who I've not seen perform before, was incredible. And also, I've got to give a shout out to Rhiannon Drake. She's been involved with the workshop before and has also helped to produce it. And she is incredible, and I love her to bits. And I honestly support everything she does. But I just don't think this was a great show. Like I say, with some shows you can give them encouragement and you can see the potential in it. But having seen shows earlier this year like Gretel, which was an exceptional first workshop, that really raised the bar. And stuff like this, which has been developed for 2 years, just does not cut it. And it comes to that point where you have to be cruel to be kind. I honestly wouldn't know where to start to try and fix this show, other than to throw it out and start again. And I know that sounds harsh, but sometimes you just have to be cruel to be kind. On Sunday afternoon, again escaping the scorching sun, I went along to watch Elegies for Angels, Punks and Raging Queens again. If you saw the interview I posted earlier this week with the cast, you'll know all about this show, and hopefully you've been to see it yourself. It is a stunning show, brilliantly directed by Brian Hodgson, and with an all-exceptional cast. It honestly is theatre at its best. And it's only on for 1 more week, so make sure you go and see it. And if that hasn't whet your appetite enough, here's the curtain call from the show. For this week. Thank you very much for watching. If you've liked my videos, please tell me. Put a little comment in the box. Subscribe to my channel, that would be great. You can also listen to this as a podcast, remember, and there will be an accompanying blog on my website. So go and have a little read if you want to find out more. Meanwhile, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. I very much hope you have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next time. Bye!